All right, guys, welcome back to the show. Earlier on today, I would say about 5-10 minutes ago, so you can kind of see the timeline. I don't know what date it is. I think it's the 6th today, by the way, but the time now is 12:47, so this will kind of give you a reference of what I'm talking about, and also this will give more reference to the people who are on my Discord. You'll get to see what's going on. So what did I say? So Ramo, one of our members, he asked a really nice question, and this is for the UK customers, right? And of course, it might relate to other people as well, but this is mostly targeted towards the UK people who are dealing with crypto and exchanges, right? And I want to answer these questions because I think I did say what I needed to. So Ramo has got most of it, but there are other things that I kind of didn't convey. And because I'm driving and voice typing at the same time, it's freaking hard, right? So I parked my car up. In fact, let me take my seatbelt off, right? So I parked my car up and I thought I'll talk about this, right? Because this is important, right? So I suggested to Ramo, I said, look, Ramo, in the UK, money, fiat money, so we're talking about fiat money in or out, Coinbase is very good, Gemini is very good, crypto.com is very good, right? So those are the three who are very, very good in your money in and out, and are pretty fast, right? They use the faster payment network in the UK, so it's pretty instant. Worst case scenario, 5 to 10 minutes and the money's in your account, right? So they're very good. Now, the other two I suggested was Uphold and Nexo. Now, Uphold I don't use as much, right? I just don't use it, right? I do use Nexo quite a bit. Now, Nexo is a really rapidly fast as well to get the money in, but getting the money out sometimes takes 24 hours. They're a little bit more centralized, right? More than fucking Coinbase and this and that. And also Nexo, in the weekends you will have a problem. So Friday after 5 p.m. or something like this, something weird, right? So they only work like traditional hours, right? Which is weird, but you're going to have that problem. So you're gonna find that getting the money out is a lot more difficult, but it will come, right? That's the one thing, it will come, but it's just a little bit more difficult, hence why they're on my secondary list, right? There are plenty more, but I don't want to talk too much because there is a lot of them. They're good, but they have problems as well. Now, one thing I want to kind of make everybody aware, right? So you've got Coinbase, you've got Binance, or all of the exchanges, right? I want you to understand there's one fact about all of these, right? So if you use the basic exchange, right? The basic, if you have the setting on basic, you will be charged more fees. It will be a lot easier. You'll see a lot less. The interface is so much more easier, but you are going to pay a lot more fees. Now, if you use the advanced version or the pro version or whatever they call it, it's free, completely free. But if you go to the pro levels, then you're going to pay a little bit less fees, right? Understand this. Also, when you're putting money in and out, what you'll find is say for example, you sell your crypto, use the pro versions all the time because you're going to pay a lot less fees. Now, Coinbase is, in my opinion, the fastest in and out, pretty instant in and out, and they are the lowest fees. In fact, they don't even charge any fees when you're taking your fiat in and out. When you're selling, they're also very cheap if you use the pro version. Gemini is very cheap, like money in and out, they don't charge you anything. They're very cheap if you use the pro version, but it's going to take a little bit of navigating, and use it from the website. That's what I'm going to recommend to you. Of course, if you use the app, you'll be given the basic one because they want to make as more money as possible, and the fees are just ridiculous, right? Also, to avoid fees, the other technique I use is I will usually find the cheapest exchange, Binance, Coinbase, with the highest liquidity. Basically, they are usually the cheapest exchange. Use their pro account to sell the crypto. So understand what I'm saying? So I will sell the crypto in a pro exchange, right? And I'll sell it to a USDT or USDT most of the time. And then I'll use something like a Tron network or something stupid like a Matic network to pay the lowest amount of fees. So you only pay pennies, right? And I'll bring that funds over to the exchange. Obviously, I need to make sure the other exchange where I can exit fiat accepts that network as well, right? So there's a lot more navigating involved, and this is like the most complex way of doing it, with saving the most amount of fees, right? So you sell your crypto for the least amount of fees, you transfer your crypto or the USDT peg for the lowest amount of fees, and then you convert it into GBP for the lowest amount of fees, and then you move it over. So that's, you got to understand this, because there's differences. When you exchange BTC, there's a fee you got to pay. When you do Ethereum, there's a whole different fee, right? So each one has its own fee structure. Don't ask me why, but that's how the exchanges like to operate. But they do that because that's how they make the money. Please understand this, right? You know, I come from a little bit of a background, so I do understand this. They got to make money, right? They got to feed the kids, right? So that's the reason why. Just be careful when you're using these exchanges, and always double check the fees. I always say, don't go all in, test the waters. Ideally, $100, because you won't notice it on a $10, by the way. On $10, you'd see a different fee, because they do, the lower the amount, they have a different fee. The higher the amount, they have a different fee. So I would say $100, maybe $1,000 worth of crypto, or whatever you want to send, right? Test it out that way. That's how you're going to figure out the fee, because there is a threshold. Anything below a certain amount in some exchanges, they charge you a higher rate. Above a certain amount, they charge you the least amount, right? So that's why you need to understand what's the threshold for the least amount, right? So yeah, I mean, technically, in my opinion, the biggest exchange, I find the cheapest fees for small amounts is Binance, to be honest. And then Coinbase Pro is pretty good, but they don't have all the coins, so that's something you've got to also understand as well. And then transferring, I've noticed Matic Network or the Tron Network, fairly cheap. I don't use Ethereum Network, freaking expensive, right? Even to send $10, you might have to pay $100, right? It's stupid. Tron usually only charges a flat rate of $1. Most exchanges, I've noticed. Matic does vary, so somewhere it's like 30 cents. Some places they charge $1. Even some places I've seen $2, but it's still negligible, right? Compared to what they might charge. And then when you do the conversion into GBP or BTC, or sorry, yeah, British pounds, right? So when you convert into British pounds, what you'll find is they also charge a little conversion fee as well. And normally I've noticed when you do the USDT to GBP, it's minuscule. It's like a Forex rate, right? Which is not that bad. So be prepared to lose a little bit of funds, right? During these transactions, you are going to lose some. I've estimated on average it's around 3 to 5% that you do lose. So whatever money you're sending or trying to convert, these are the fees you're going to be paying, nothing else, right? So that's what you're going to do. Now, I did explain on Discord, I said, look, for me, I just look for entry point, not an exit point, solely because I normally just exit. There's two methods that I do. I normally just spend it on my crypto card. So I have a Coinbase card, I have crypto.com card. I also have an Nexo card as well. There's a few other cards I have. The list goes on and on. So I just spend through that if I have to spend. And if I need to cash out, then there's always someone somewhere. It's not that frequent, you know, but I'll always get someone come along and say, right, bro, you got some BTC. I'll be like, yeah, no worries, right? So they're happy to pay me the same rate, but they just want to stay anonymous for whatever reason. Not that they are anonymous, right? But anyway, so they just like, can you just dump us some BTC? So what happens is they will transfer the cash over to me, right? So I've got the cash already. So the money's in my account. I can just transfer the BTC over. So you see what I mean? So I do have my ways of exiting out. Like the other day, there was a brother. Here's a good one, right? He's on our Discord group as well, right? He had, I don't know, about half a BTC he wanted to get rid of. He said, look, I bought this during the dip. I want to get rid of it. I want to go and buy a car or whatever. Something he said about a car or something. I'm not sure. I think he's saving up for a car. He wants to buy a Porsche or something. So anyway, he said, I want to cash out. And I said, all right, cool, no worries. So I knew he was going to cash out. I said, let me know when you want to do it. And then there was another person who wanted to dump, right? They were like, oh, actually, sorry, no, they wanted to buy. They were like, I want to buy. So I said, what price do you want to buy? Do you want to wait for the dip or whatever? So I'm talking to both of them. So one guy goes, I'm happy to sell at 60K. Great, no problem. We can arrange that. And then the other guy turned around and he's like, I'm happy to buy. And I kind of mentioned him on the video. So he wanted to buy at the $62,400 level. So you got these two guys. One wants to sell at 60. He's happy to sell at 60. He's like, anything above that is a bonus. And then the other guy is saying, I want to buy at 62. So obviously the guy who wanted to buy at 62,400, right? I said, fine, I'll get it for you. So the quantity he wanted at that day, I delivered that to him for the other guy. But end of the day, this guy ended up making a little bit more than he would have. So he held on. I said, look, why don't you just give him the same price? Don't charge him anything. There's no commission, nothing. So I didn't make anything. Nobody's making any money. This guy's wants to buy at 62,400. You still have it and you were willing to sell it for 60. Well, now you've got an opportunity to sell it for 62,400. Why don't you just do the transfer between yourselves and I'll be the middleman and I'll handle the cash, right? So they agreed and I kind of just connected them. Obviously friends, you know what I mean? Amongst friends, right? I'm not here to making money all the time, but there are some times when I'll make a little bit of commission here and there, right? It fluctuates, right? Sometimes I won't, sometimes I'll lose out, by the way. Sometimes I'll freaking lose out. But the point is it doesn't matter. The whole point is at least you're doing the most honest thing. And this is how I kind of can stay inside the loop and still do whatever. And I always recommend to people, I say, guys, always, if you have, say, you know, let's just say, I'm going to say percentage, right? So you've got 100% fund. If you got 50% in crypto, have 50% cash, because you never know when you're going to need that. Cash means like USDT or whatever. And there's always opportunities. So people who I know, like sitting on like 50 grand USDT sitting in an account, sometimes I might not have 50 grand free, right? So I'll be like, right, you know, let's manage this. Send me over the crypto and I'll handle the cash and we'll deal with it. So we'll kind of do this kind of in between, right? And of course, you end up making a few Satoshis. Sometimes you don't, but it depends on the deal you make. You know what I mean? So that's why, for me, exit's not that important. Entry is more important to me, because entering in means that I have the cash flow. If I can't enter, I don't have any cash flow. So that's what it is. But yeah, I mean, I hope the video was informative. I know I gave away a little bit too much. There's too much information here. But this is what it is. It is what it is. At the end of the day, I'm not giving anybody financial advice. Just wanted you guys to understand that these are the 5 exchanges that I would highly recommend, because they are kind of regulated, or they have regulated what's it called, interest behind them, or whatever, you know, companies behind them. So they are regulated, in my opinion. They are a lot more easier. I've noticed the more regulated they are, the more easier they are. Just do your KYC and you should be able to rapidly move up, you know, in and out. But the basic and the advanced is the difference, right? A lot of people have to note this, that yes, the basic ones will charge you an arm and a leg, right? Whereas you can get away by giving your little pinky finger, usually on a pro exchange, right? I hope that kind of makes sense. Also, another thing to note, Coinbase, we all know Coinbase has issues. Now, one thing people need to understand, like, I don't see a problem with Coinbase. Let me explain to you. Coinbase glitch is usually the app doesn't display your currency or doesn't show anything. But when we're doing trades, or when we're setting up trades, right, or when you're setting up a buy order or a sell order, it will execute, because that's happening technically not on chain, but we can say almost on chain, right? It's a confirmation done on chain. Means even if their system breaks down, they will still give it to you, right, at that price. So that does happen, right? The only time it won't work is if there's a disconnection in their entire server and it's not communicating, so you can't buy. Because all it's doing is, think about it like a peer-to-peer, right? Coinbase is just sitting in the middle. Someone has put their order to sell a BTC. It's not just, you know, we're just dipping into the pool and taking whatever we want. No, of course there's a pool, but we're not dipping into the pool. Someone has placed an order to sell, and all they're doing is just matching the buyer to the seller. That's all it is. So because someone's already placed an order to sell and you've agreed to buy, you're always going to get it. So you see what I mean? So don't worry too much about it. Of course, sometimes what happens is during an event where we had, like yesterday, where the market bleeds, your order may not fill. That's the only difference that could happen, is your order may not fill. But someone has to put an order in to sell, and someone has to put an order in to buy in order for that order to happen. So technically, they're just a peer-to-peer, right? And they're just acting as an insurance in between and collecting a little bit of fees. So that's what it is, guys. So please understand this. This is one of the reasons why it doesn't faze me. Coinbase doesn't faze me. I see the problem, it's fine. It doesn't matter, right? Because what purpose am I using Coinbase for? Do you know what I mean? What are my reasons to be on Coinbase? I mean, Binance, I can't do GBP anymore, right? But Binance doesn't restrict me doing anything in crypto. So I'm still using Binance, right? Just not for fiat stuff, right? And not for large quantity. Of course, okay, there is a few large quantities, but only to buy. As long as it's with crypto to crypto, then it's fine, right? So that's what I'm doing. So understand this. Coinbase, sorry, not Coinbase, crypto.com. I do use crypto.com, but crypto.com is quite funny. I actually send fiat to crypto.com only to spend it on my crypto card, because I get a lot of, well, I used to, I don't get as much as before because I've kind of downgraded, but I used to get a lot of Crow for free for spending on my crypto.com card. And I did that during the bear market, right? So I was loading up my crypto.com card to spend on it so I can receive free Crow, right? Because I'm just stashing up, right? And I did all right. I'm actually in profit right now. So I was at a loss. I was like 90% down. But with all of the Crow that I've accumulated over these recent purchases and whatnot, and I've done quite a few, that's given me a positive balance now. So I'm actually doing okay. So crypto.com, when it went to like 14 cents, I actually went into the green, right? So can you imagine? I'm in the green. So that's that. And then they changed their policy a little bit. So I'm not getting as much as I used to. And plus I've downgraded because you had to stake XYZ. I took all of those out and I don't know what happened. So I've kind of left them. I'm not bothered. Coinbase now pays 1% per transaction. So I'm using that. And then there's a few others as well. I didn't mention them. I do have a whole bunch of other crypto banks as well. I actually have crypto banks with crypto debit cards, right? But they're a little bit more complicated, kind of weird, right? Getting money in and getting money out is kind of weird. So hence why I don't want you guys to go through the pain that I've gone through. But I have done my KYC. I've done all of those. I've got my debit cards all at home. I've got my own custom debit cards. In fact, with one of them, I have my own custom handle on Ethereum. A lot of people don't know this. If you, well, maybe some of you guys, if you have my wallet address and if you go to the Ethereum blockchain, you will see that I have a domain that says Dr. Sham, right? Because that's my handle, right? But it's quite funny. It's like I got that, but that's because I have an actual crypto bank and they identify me. They know exactly who I am. So that's what it is, guys. I don't want to make this video any longer. 16 minutes, fucking too long. I've got to go, excuse my language, but that's the thing. Market itself, look, again, I want to talk about Maudi as well. Sorry, let me just drop this in there as well. Maudi, right? So Maudi, the brother, he asked, can we go and hit 63K? And I briefly said, possible, but not probable. But what I mean by that, guys, is when you see the market moving in a particular way, yesterday was kind of a black swan, but not black swan. A lot of people would, I'm sure they're going to claim, oh, this was a black swan. No, it wasn't. We saw it building up. We saw it happening. We talked about it in many, many videos. I've talked about it on Discord where KR, right? He asked me, he said, bro, are we going to go to 70K, 80K? I was like, first, let's get to 69K. Why? Because nothing else mattered after 69K. 69K was the level that we needed to understand, because from 62, and I mentioned this, 62K to 69K, or 61,000 something, I said, to 69K, that was a range. So unless you break through that range and create a support above that range, you can test that all day long. So of course we broke it, we got rejected, we came down, we're going to go and test it again, right? Next level of resistance, which we should have as support in the future, is the 69K. We need a candle above the 69K. So a lot of attempt is going to be made. Doesn't matter how much risk people take, a lot of attempts going to be made. Hence why, if we do dump, I don't see us dumping down back to 63K. I mean, if we do, it's great. That we would love to see levels. And I've talked about how we need to create steps, right? So as we progress, if we can create little steps, little areas like 60K areas, 58K area, I know I mentioned this, 58K area, 60K area, 61K, 62, 63, whatever level, right? If we can even create these 4-hourly support zones, then each 4-hourly support zone becomes stronger over time. Does that make sense? You can make it on a 4-hour, right? Or even a 2-hour, doesn't matter, or even 1 hour. You make these supports, and over an entire day or over 2-3 days, they actually become a freaking stronger support. So once we get those support zones, we're there. But right now, we don't have strong support zones. We do have a range below the 63K, right? So we are holding range below the 63K, but it's a range, it's not a support, right? The major support is way below that. So this is what you got to understand. This is one of the reasons why the other day when I said I'm going to stick to my 58K to 56K. Why? Because that's where the stronger support zone was. Does that make sense, right? So I can't tell you, oh, we're going to find support here, but it's a weak support. It's only had like, you know, maybe 4 hours one day and another 4 hours on another day. But in between that, there was not many hours for it to solidify. Does that make sense? You need a strong foundation, right? That's one of the reasons why I said that it's possible, but it's not probable because of the structure of the market. We just dipped down. It's fine, liquidation event. So what do you think happened when it went down to 59k, right? What happened? At that time, people started longing. People are not stupid. Like, people are very optimistic, right? If I saw that the market could do a 5 to 10k dump, people also set up 5 to 10k buy orders and this and that. So trailing stops are not just the thing that we use. We also use trailing buys, right? So please understand this. And yesterday's video, I did kind of briefly mention that, guys, this is the time when I'll be jumping back in, and I did refresh myself. That's why I'm happy, right? Because I have re-entered the market. I am absolutely fine. I'm in the green, right? So of course I'm happy. And of course, now that I've entered in the green again, what do you think I did? Immediately, right? I said, right, this is my range. This is where I need to put my stops in. So same exchanges, same everything. All I've done is just go and recycle the funds. Now I have a little bit more Satoshis than I started with, right? Let's just put it that way. I have a little bit more Satoshis than I started with. And why not, right? Why not? So that's the kind of thing you have to understand. It's not gambling. I know the brother said it's gambling. Brother, I don't know how long you've been following me, but those of the guys who follow me or personally know me, have met me, they know very well, I don't even play lottery. I won't play chances. I don't play chances. If the thing goes, if, like, for example, I think this particular coin isn't going to move, I'll happily let it go, but I won't gamble my fate on it, right? And if I think that, okay, this coin is about to shoot and it shoots and I didn't enter, I wouldn't chase it. I don't gamble. I do not gamble. I don't even play the lottery. I don't play on chances. For me, it's all maths based, right? I'm like, if it comes to this, so say, for example, it's going down, I'll be like, if it goes to this level, there's a probability it will go to this level. And I want to be around that. Of course, with the bigger the coin or the more higher the price, right, my range will be different. So if I think it's going to go to, say, 50k, example, then my buy order would be 50,500. Does that make sense, right? And then the other side, I'll be like, okay, but I would want to, if it goes any further, then it will be 49,500. Do you know what I mean? So I'll have this range of like 500 up and 500 down, because either one of those could happen, right? I need to buy at a particular level, but what if it loses? Then I need to get out at the same time as well, let it bleed out, right? So that I can buy a few more Satoshis and then climb it back up again. So this is the kind of a strategy you have to have, right? I talk about this quite often. Whenever you're making a trade, when you press that button, you assume loss, right? And in order to protect yourself with the strategy, you have to always have stop losses, trailing stops, whatever you need, right? You do that. I shouldn't be saying this over and over again like a freaking broken record, but that's what you do. And it's important. It's more important now that we're on this phase where we're going to be testing the 69k again. We're probably going to test it 2-3 times. It doesn't matter. I'm just being hypothetical here. But we will test it. And we're definitely going to break it, because the bull flag, remember I said the bull flag was showing 77k, right? A bull flag usually doesn't fail, right? It's very rare a bull flag fails. So if a bull flag does fail, then I'm sorry, but it really fails. But I'm not giving hype. I have no idea what happened, but the video just died. But anyway, I'm just not going to continue with this. I think the phone just heated up because I am in the sun right now. But yeah, hope this kind of makes sense. I'm not hyping anything. I'm not giving you guys hopium. I'm just saying, be logical, understand. You want to enter, no problem. You want to be all hyped up and you're going to go to the moon, fine. Put a brake on it, right? Put a brake on it at least, right? What if something happens? You know, if you're coming back, if you're falling back to the ground, do you have a parachute, right? I'm saying parachute. Someone else mentioned something today, but anyway, you need to have something to like when you're coming down, at least save yourself. Do you know what I mean? So that's the reason why we need to have protections. We can't just FOMO into stuff, right? And if we do, we make the right decision to FOMO in. I FOMO, believe me, I'm a freaking degen. I'm a freaking degen. The other day, the brother, there's a brother, I'm not going to mention his name, but he gave a list of 40 meme coins. List of 40 meme coins, right? And I went and bought every single one of those meme coins. I mean, how freaking stupid is that? And I didn't do a single analysis. He just said, that's the ones that I would recommend. Went and bought them. About 9 of them, I think, rug pulled. I don't blame him for it, but I'm a freaking degen. You know what I mean? I'm a degen, hence why I just did it, right? So it happens, right? You know, I FOMO, I was like, fuck it, I FOMO. But I didn't risk anything I'm not willing to lose. Does that make sense? So I wasn't going to go stupid. And then what happened was, Once I went in, I identified the one that rugged. Then I identified the ones that didn't rug, because now I'm doing the analysis. So I bought them first as a DN. And then I looked at them and I was like, oh, okay, this one's good, this one's bad. And then there was one or two that went to like zero. Literally, I put $10 in just to test the waters, and it went to zero. I was like, ooh. But everything was solid. When I looked at the analysis, it was solid. I went in and I said, right, fuck it. Now I'm going to go all in on this, right? So all in means whatever I'm willing to lose, right? And I started to rebuy those coins, right? So I started to put a lot more in the ones that have survived. So out of the 40, I think there's about 30, I would say approximately 30 that I like. Now I've gone double, triple, quadruple, whatever funds I could lose, I've gone all in on them because I believe they're going to do it well. And now I'm in the green because my hunch was great. Like, it was like, okay, these are rugs, forget them. That's a loss I'm willing to lose. But I didn't test the water with $1,000. I tested it with like $10, $20. I think some of them were like $30, $40. Even one or two of them were like 1 Solana, 2 Solana, depended on what they looked like, right? They're gone, they're gone. I'm not going to cry over spilt milk. It's a decision I made. Now, the coins that I have identified that are good, even though they were down, my balance was almost zero, right, from the test funds. I went back in and I said, now I've got to buy them again. So I used my other wallet. Now I went all in. And now, as I said, I'm in profit. You know what I mean, right? So sometimes it's good to test the waters. And if it goes, it goes, right? Dog with hat. For God's sake, whiff. You know, I hold some whiff as well, right? But the batch I hold was my test batch. Do you think I don't freaking regret? I freaking regret not buying more. I regret not buying more, right? Because I had a test batch. Bonk, I had a test batch and I never topped up, right? Pepe is okay. Pepe, I did buy some, but I bought some. So there was some funds in, so remember Bybit. A lot of people don't know this, right? So Bybit had a drama where they said, oh, by the 8th of whatever time, you have to get out of UK. So they're not going to do any more UK people. So I had a whole bunch of shrapnels, a whole bunch of coins sitting on Bybit, including BTC and Ethereum. And I was like, I'm going to spend hours trying to convert them. Fuck it. I'm going to transfer them all into one currency. So I made it into one currency. And then I need to exit. And I was looking at the fees they were charging for each of them. I'm like, this is stupid. So I then transferred everything into into Pepe. Right? I was like, fuck it. It's just shrapnels. I'm not bothered anyway. I've made my money already. I've moved most of it. So let me just put it into Pepe. Right? So this is a story. And I moved the Pepe out of there. And I remember I moved the Pepe out of there. I put it into OKX. Left it on OKX. Then OKX turned around and said the same thing to me. It's like, oh, we're not doing UK anymore, so fuck off. I was like, oh my days. This is stupid, right? So then I thought, okay, fine, I'm going to send it over somewhere else. So I sent it over to another exchange. And in between that, I've lost Pepe. I've lost fees and whatnot, right? And I was like, okay, that's fine. So I've lost quite a bit of it. But this was intentionally bought, but bought with loose change I had. So it's not something I put fresh funds in, if that makes sense, right? And that's how I got lucky with Pepe. So I ended up with a whole bunch of Pepe and I've done really well, right? SHIB, those of you who have followed me back in 2020, 2021, 2022, like during that time, remember when SHIB launched, there was me and one other person, we went all in on SHIB and we doubled our funds on SHIB. Once we doubled our funds, we took out our initial and then we took some more out and then the market started bleeding. During that time, I took a whole bunch of whatever out. And then I remember there was a small bunch of SHIB I can't take out because it just wasn't enough. And I'm one of those, by the way, guys, I don't sell all the time. Sometimes I'll stage them. Like I'll be like, okay, 50% today, 50% tomorrow, 50% of that, 50% of that. And I'll do it that way and I'll come out and then remainder could be $5 worth, right? But the SHIB dumped so fast to the point where there was not enough there for me to move the SHIB. I left it there. I'm like, fuck it, leave it there. Can't be bothered. And then I was kind of monitoring SHIB and then it bled down even more. So we were at the bloody of the market. And I went in, I said, oh, put a little bit of money, right? A little bit of coffee money, maybe sandwich money, put some in there and just leave it, right? So I bought some SHIB. My missus, I got her to buy some SHIB. She was like, you mad? I was like, just here, just darling, just put it there. You would not regret. You can buy a handbag from this, right? You buy a handbag. So I put some SHIB in her account, and yeah, look where we are today. So I had faith in it. I actually had faith in it, and the faith was what was happening. So I wasn't following what SHIB is. SHIB is a piece of shit in my opinion. But I followed the narrative. By the way, don't take this the wrong way. What I mean, right, for me at that time, SHIB is a piece of shit. It's just a meme coin, right? I don't believe in meme coins. But what I noticed was how the people reacted, right? They wanted Shibarium. They wanted to do more with it. And I was like, that's a narrative. Now that we can play on. That we can play on. Right? Bonk. I looked at Bonk and I was like, oh, it's already done what it did, right? So what am I going to do with Bonk, right? But then I looked at Bonk and I was like, okay, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's got a massive community. Okay, I follow the people, not the money, not the project. I follow the people. If the people are trusting it, I don't see a reason why I can't chuck $100 in there, right? Or something like that, right? And just sit back and relax. So that's done quite well. So this is what I'm saying. There's a lot of these, like meme. I'm not a meme expert, I'll be honest with you, right? But I follow narratives and I look at things and I'm like, okay, people power, why not? So I know this video wasn't about this, but Modi, I hope this kind of answers your question. And I also said to you, brother, that I don't have a crystal ball. To be honest, I do not have a crystal ball. I never had. I mean, I forgot who it was. I think it was SM on Discord. I think it was SM. He turned around and he said, you must have a jinn, right? I'm sure you have a jinn who's giving you the knowledge of the future. No, nothing like that. It's just a chart, nothing else. It's just patterns. When you see it, it's so clear. Of course, not to everybody, but like when I look at a chart, it's so clear. I don't even look at charts. This is one of the reasons why I don't show you charts, because when you look at charts, it will confuse the shit out of you, right? There are plenty of YouTubers out there who confuse the life out of you. You're lost, right? When you watch all of this because you're trying to get all the information out there, you're lost. One thing, there are people who would always show you, oh, look what we did in the past, and trying to tell you what may happen in the future. The past performance is not going to happen in the future. We should know this, right? We're not going to have millions of percents like we had in the past. Let's not look back that far. Come on, guys. It's not relevant. And then you'll get other people coming in and hyping it. Oh, look, I bought this. I'm going to 10x. I'm going to 100x. I'm going to do this. All they're doing is they're trying to sell you or give you their leverage platform links, one, and showing you this so they can sign up and they get more commission. They're being paid to do that. You think they're playing with their own BTC, taking that kind of risk? No, the exchanges are paying them. One guy, I remember, he got caught, right? Bybit was paying him $250,000 per month to promote their thing. $250,000 a month. And he was opening trades like $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. Good luck to him. Because that 1 year, he's made a lot of money from Bybit. He took that and he converted into BTC. And then that was in 2021, right? And he did some serious, crazy 100x leverage. You don't do 100x leverage on BTC unless you're willing to lose all of it or unless it's free money. He did that. And I think he did like $1 million trade and he made $100 million. Good luck to him. I don't see anything wrong with it, but I just want everybody to understand that that's what's going on. All right, that's what's going on. You don't go and flash all of this unless you're doing it with free money. So does he care how many people lost money? No, because you sign up, you give him more bonus, they get more bonuses, and they move on, right? So that's the reality, right? And then you got other people, as I said, like who come in and talk nonsense and show you charts and confuse the life out of you. I don't like doing that. I'm not. This is one of the things. I just want to be a real person, right? Why am I going to come onto the show and show you charts? I have my trading view on my display right now. I can see all the prices right now, and I just need the number. I don't care. The number tells me what's going to happen. Just by looking at the number, I can see what's going on. Right now, it's sitting at 66,373. Ethereum is sitting at 3,830. The time now is 1:20 p.m. in the UK. Ethereum's just hit $3,900. So what's Ethereum going to do? It got rejected. Fine, it's going to test it again. Right? Is it going to go to oblivion right now? No, it's not. It's going to test it again. Because Ethereum needs to catch up and at least test its all-time high. Right? So those are the things you need to understand. Keep control of your emotion. Whether you watch me or not, listen to me or not, trust me or not, believe me or not, It doesn't matter. You can judge me for whatever you want, however you want. It doesn't make a difference. You can have an opinion on me. It doesn't make any difference, right? I know what I'm doing. That's the most important thing. I know that I'm sitting here speaking my mind, being honest with you, unscripted, right? Unedited, everything. Like there was a cut there because my camera heated up a little bit. But other than that, I'm not giving you anything else. Only what I know, what I feel, what I think, right? My honest opinions. I'm not afraid to tell someone off. If I think someone here is saying something or something is wrong, I'll say, fuck you. I don't care. But you won't get that elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? You won't get that. You won't get people being real because everyone's putting an act on, right? I'll come on whenever. Right now, I'm driving. I was messaging on Discord and I said, oh, I gotta stop the car and talk about this. You won't get that anywhere else, right? Why? Because everybody has a schedule. Everybody has a time, that optimal time my viewers like to watch, right? And then they'll publish a video because they need to earn money off you. In this video and this entire channel, I've never asked anybody for anything. I've been cursed by friends and family. A really good friend 2 days ago, actually. Was it 2 days? No, yesterday, last night. Fucking hell, last night. Chris, he knows, like Chris comes over last night and he says, you need to monetize, mate. You need to monetize. You're giving so much information that people who really understand you are getting so much benefit. You should be charging on that. You should be monetizing on that. You should be putting ads on your videos and XYZ, getting sponsors and whatnot. I'm like, but that's not what I'm about. Yeah, maybe someday, but right now, no. And right now it's all about giving value. Maybe someday I'll become an entertainment channel, but now it's not entertainment. It's about the community, and it's always been about the community. It's always been helping that one person, right? So, but anyway, I don't want to say anymore. I'm going to get back to what I was doing. So a lot of you guys probably have heard me say I'll go and do my good deed. My good deed is, you can see a whole bunch of bags in the bag. There are a lot of vulnerable people on this planet. Like right now, literally just over there is a house. There's a man. He can't walk. Is elderly. Is kind of paralyzed to a certain point. He can't walk. So he can't go, and he doesn't have family or anything like this. Oh, he can't collect his medicine. So I'm going to go and deliver his medicine. All right. And for me, it does two things. One thing, I'm doing my good deed of the day and I get exercise. So 3 days a week, I actually get exercise out of this. So I'll end up doing like 15 to 20,000 steps. Even though I'm driving, it's not always driving, but yeah, I'll get my 15 to 20,000 steps. And I'll make sure I get the steps in, right? And I like that, right? That's kind of my little workout, right? In my busy, hectic life. And also my disconnect, because you also need a disconnect, right? So I have 2 disconnects, and this is one of my disconnect. This is when I don't want to think about crypto or anything like that. Or even if I do think about it, it's on my mind, but at least my body's moving. Do you know what I mean? You need to do that. If I don't, I'll be freaking fat. I'll have a big fat belly, but I keep fit this way. And it helps me, and I've been doing it for a good few years now. Started in the pandemic, actually, originally as a voluntary thing, and now I'm getting paid for my fuel and my time as well to a certain extent, but mostly the fuel, so it's fine. And the insurance is not cheap, so just a nice little thing. I'm doing it out of my heart. If I'm getting rewarded for it, why not? Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to say no to it, right? And then there's a lot of people through this who. This is funny, right? I need to add this on. There's this 80-year-old man who can barely walk. He's got a bad back. He used to drive. So when the Queen was around, the Queen, they have friends and this and that. So Queen has a friend who's actually a lady, like a lord or a lady. So there's a lady, and he used to drive one of the ladies. He's actually been to Buckingham Palace and everything. So he used to drive them around years ago. And he can't walk or anything now. So he's kind of poorly. He talked to me about crypto. How crazy is that? He goes, Sham, have you heard about Bitcoin? I was like, yeah, sometimes you go and you have a brief conversation with someone, right? And people always ask, how you doing and this and that. And they were like, have you heard about Bitcoin? Oh, shit. Okay, hold on. Yeah, what do you want to know about it? It's like, oh, a friend of mine was talking about it and this and that, how it's doing this and that. I was like, yeah, just to let you know, I actually do this in real life. And he's like, what? So you're an expert. So we got into a conversation. Well, this is an 80-year-old man who's clearly piqued his interest in BTC. He's on his last legs, but he wants to do BTC. So I said to him, I said, look, I'll guide you, obviously, and you don't want to do wrong things. Don't fall into the trap and everything. So we've had good conversations to the point where he actually made an effort because he's got my details. He's got my phone number and everything. And by the way, everyone has my phone number. Right? Around this area, around a 3-mile radius, I'm not even joking. Everybody has my phone number, right? But they do respect me. They understand what it is. So he came to visit me with his family member actually recently. He came to visit me because he goes, what else do you do? And I told him about what I do in the day, what I do in the night and everything. So he came to visit me in the evening and spent some time and sat down and we had a good conversation. We had a really good conversation. So why not? Do you know what I mean? But you meet people, you make connections, and all the connections are not about hype and not about business and this and that. No, sometimes just a friendly gesture, a friendly connection goes a long way, right? Goes a long way. You don't know what kind of reward you're going to get from it. So I don't expect anything. If something comes my way, by all means, I'll accept it with open arms, right? But I'd always try my best to stay humble, right? Always try my best to not flash anything, not do anything. Always try my best to be the most modest person on the planet, right? To my ability, obviously, to my ability. I want to be as modest as possible, right? And that's it. Because people ask, like, why do you do what you do? You're out there, you're doing things. Why do you do it? You'll never understand. You will never understand, right? Why don't I charge? Why do I do this? You'll never understand. Because to understand, you have to be me. And you're not me. Right. Like, share, subscribe. And I'll catch you on another one very soon. Adios, my amigos.